Now then, hello and welcome for the pronunciation and general outlines of the Finland DLC by Tiera from the Wargame Yuken System forums. We start from the BTR 50, pronounced in Finnish as BTR 50 yhtymän viestijärjestelmä, which translate as roughly as organizational level SIGINT or Signals HQ. Literal translation would be the signal system, as järjestelmä is system in Finnish and English. So, here we are. 45 kilometers speed, it's amphibious, funnily enough, and an AAMMG against aerial threats in theory. Nothing too fancy, really similar to the East German one already in the game. Same goes for BMP-1K komentopanssarivaunu, which is a BMP-1 with an antenna on it. No bells and whistles, just same old. Kopa is also rather familiar looking. The model is from XA90, which can be seen from the layout of the hatches and the location of the AAMG. The wire cutter is an extra feature which is most likely from the model which is used from the overseas mission, namely in K4. Top armor value 1, swims fast, moves fast, medium optics. I think it's alright. Then there's the command platoon, the command team, komentojoukkue, which has access to the both transport helicopters of the FDF, the border guard, Super Puma, and the Army Air Force helicopter squadron, Mi-8. 2 combat tanks, nothing to write home about here, standard non-Soviet Warsaw-backed style T-55 and T-72. T-72 komentopanssarivaunu in actual pronunciation, with a top armor value of 2, which makes it rather common and noteworthy. Then we go to the supply. 1500 liters first of supply with 35 points. It's your standard run-of-the-mill Mi-8, nothing to write home about. And this is funny little unit. The Terra 865 BMKPI is actually a tractor, even though it looks like a vehicle. It's based on a forestry tractor and carries 500 worth of supply. It's amphibious, this is historical, but the speed, off-road speed is, well, less than stellar. And this is your main supply unit, the SA-150 KPI Sisuauto Masi, which is incidentally a nickname for Beetle Bailey. The skin has a small error. There should be tila enintään, which is maximum load for 30 persons, which is not acronymed as Berg, but since that's close to Bergele, it's only fitting error in the Finnish unit. So let's go on to the infantry. A lot of people have seen the early screenshots and discussed about the stats and the weapons of the infantry, and according to the year 1978, the presence of Ukko-Pekka bolt-action rifles, Mosins, isn't actually that far-fetched, because the assault rifles were only acquired to arm the entire massive reserve army in its wartime strength by the mid-1980s. Before that, these old rifles would have been certainly handed to soldiers on tasks where things would have gone south quickly enough if they'd had to fire them in anger against the enemy. So, bolt-action rifles it is. Strela 2M. Nothing to write home about, but it's your Cat C man pads. And then there's the ilmatorjuntaohjus 86M, which showcases the other model, the M90 Jaeger model, and this is one of the units which I am sorry to say that there's an error, because the mistake that we made in the research was based on the fact that the FDF operated 3 man-bat missiles, ilmatorjuntajuus 78, ilmatorjuntajuus 86 ja ilmatorjuntajuus 86M, out of which the 86M was referred as IGLA-M, which is, as the forum members were quick to point out, and rightfully so, is a non-existent missile. Therefore the IGLA-M is due to be replaced with a regular IGLA, but there you go. Because the date is so late, the fact that they are still using these battle rifles it's a mistake and should be corrected. These are Noriko Chinese AKs, which were bought in mass by the FDF to finally replace the Second World War era small arms. Alright, let's carry on. Jääkäri. Jääkäri is the standard. It actually translates as a private. It's the smallest enlisted rank in the FDF. And these guys are using this rather goofy looking outfit, which is actually rather accurate representation of the M62 camouflage system. The Finns had a full body winter-summer camouflage. It's white on the other side, but these camo uniforms were issued around rather sparingly, and the color and the actual pattern was in use from 1962 to 1991, when the new camo pattern, which was seen in the previous unit, was brought into service. Notable things: Nokia made rubber boots. They made rubber boots before they made mobile phones, and the M60 something field harness. This is the so-called leipalaukku, which they are using for dump pocket for empty magazines and for bread. The Swedish knäckebröd type näkkileipä is the standard meal in field conditions. Armed with RK-62, not your father's AKM. It's the forefather of the Israeli Galil, but I'm not going to wander into that story yet. More of that later. The M72 law. This is the 66 KES 75, which means 66mm light disposable anti-tank weapon model 75. So the FDF always brings out the caliber first, then the weapon type, and then the introduction year. So it's logical and easy system enough. Easy enough to remember in my books. The weapon model is wrong, so the weapon they are using is an kevyt konekiväri 62, the light LMG 62, which is once again 7.62, not the heavy 7.62, but the AKM bullet. So the whole team is using the same caliber ammo, which makes logistics somewhat easier. Stats wise, the AKM bullet firing 7.62 KK-62 has the same suppression as 5.56 NATO, and the rate of fire is close to the South Korean K3, but because this weapon uses the belts of 100 metal belts with the ability to link them, but their standard ammo pouch is only 100 bullets. It means that the rate of fire is a bit lower than in the K3. I can show you the comparison from here quickly enough. Here we go. Infantry and vehicle. As you can see, the K3 LMG has a bit higher rate of fire. This is the shock variant, of course, but the basic rates are close. You could also compare it to the Dickers 90 and the Minimi, which is stabilized and has superior rate of fire as well as CQC abilities, but it's not bad as far as LMGs go. At least on my books it's usable. The weapon was highly accurate and had high rate of fire, and this is acceptable way to represent it. It's not gimped in any way in my books. And here is one of my favorite models. They've really gone into details, I can show you. So this is the M91 camouflage pattern, and this is the M85 combat belt. Sorry, a bit of flu here. M85 taisteluvyö, which translates as a combat belt. On top of it, they are filling it on top of it of M91 M91 Sirpaleliivi, which is a flak vest. It's a composite vest protecting from shrapnel and other light conditions. You can add ceramic plates inside the vest, but that's something which is reserved for overseas mission usually. And then there's the composite helmet, komposiittikypärä M91 if the memory serves. These are all early 1990s modernization drive equipment. And the changes, the cost is the same, which is reasonable in my books. The changes are in the anti-tank weapon, which is now the upgraded law 66 88, 88 meaning 88, so it's from the year 1988, increasing the AP to 60, but otherwise the same Jaeger. And here we can see the KT. Yeah, you've noticed this already, but let's talk about it later on. And then the third model for the soldiers, which is in a good case. This is from Nostoväki, so these guys started on from 1944 and never quit. The rubber boots are the only thing which is an exact improvement to their equipment from the Second World War days. The German style Stahlhelm. The Finns had 7 different models of helmets, and when they standardized they made new straps for the old Stahlhelm, the German style helmet, and kept it on. Then the combat harness is also a new equipment, but otherwise bolt action rifles, and this guy is in good condition, as you can see, because he's holding this huge 20mm Lahden panssarintorjuntakivääri, also known as Norsupyssy, the elephant rifle. He's holding the 20mm Lahti rifle like an LMG, which is an engine imitation, but amuses me to no end. What else? Oh yeah, Kaartijääkäri. A lot of people have said that these guys have M05 bulletproof vests, and I don't know, it looks like butcher's apron to me. From the back you can see that it's some kind of tactical vest, so definitely out of time frame, but then again they have it from 1988, and the old steel helmet, which would have been looking nice for the Panssarjägeri units as well. The PPD model instead of the proper Suomi Konepistooli, Suomi SMG, and the RPD. This is a unit which I'm not, generally speaking, happy about. It pays premium for stats which are never going to be used, and this was not the role we intended it for it. If you think what would have been the ideal solution, you can check the Yugoslav 15-man 10-point mountaineers in regular level. But here we are, and I hope that something can be done about it. But that's for Kaartijääkäri. This is the only model which I'm not pleased with, to be honest, as always. But here is another model which is from the basic. So basically there's 3 models. The M62 62 type maastopuku, then there's the M91 maastopuku, the camouflage pattern, and then there are the 2 other models for the command team and the reservists, and then there's Kaarti. These guys operate the 55 S55 kevytsinko, which is reasonably enough called by the company name Raikka. Raikka is, if I'd say it's the Finnish Charlie Key, I wouldn't be that far off. The caliber of the rocket is roughly similar, and the introduction date is roughly similar. The ammunition was constantly upgraded through the Cold War because the shell life of the AT warheads was rather low, and therefore when these units are from 1975, the rocket is fired low range, and the ballistics are like hill-shaped. Actually, I can show you some YouTube videos later on in the forum where they fire HA grenades, shrapnel grenades, and they fire them almost vertically upwards. But the AB was nothing to be ashamed of. These were the units which were used as heavier anti-tank units, while the Jäger units had the M72 Laws as the standard squad level anti-tank. But because there were so many of these launchers around in heavier assault missions and in typical conditions for Panzerjäger units, the name implies Panzer is tank and Jäger is mechanized infantry, so these are just like German Panzergrenadier units. So they operate with tanks, but they also operate wheeled vehicles, especially the BTR-60 Petteri, which is a common male name, so the nickname is rather fitting. This is your standard BMB BTR-60 with KPVT 40.5mm light auto cannon or heavy anti-air machine gun, if that would be the fitting term for it. For 15 points, not so special, but the model and the skin were good. Nothing to complain about. And they have the close quarters combat training and the stats, which are rather nice. This is your standard meat grinder 20-pointer shock. Good AP, low rate of fire, acceptable accuracy, considering the low range. Actually, the Charlie G Carl Gustavs are always going to be more accurate because of the range, but it's acceptable. And here we go, onwards with the review. Panzerjägerin 90. So the Panzerjägerin 90s, these guys have the 112 RSKS Apilas, which means 112mm heavy single shot anti-tank weapon Apilas, which is kind of silly because Apilas means armor piercing light infantry light arms systems, which basically means that it's an anti-tank system called an anti-tank system with the international name on top. But since Apila means the shamlock in Finnish, it's a nickname which has stuck, or a name which has stuck, and it's easy to use for Finns. These guys are armed with an interesting piece of history. As you can see, the folding stock is Israeli type, which is not a coincidence. Arco 90 TB coming from Taittoperä is a system which was bought as a license as Galil arm from Israel by the Sweden in 1980s when they wanted to replace the Heckler & Koch G3 derivatives. But Sweden ended up with an FNC system and they sold the licenses to Finnish company, which was quick to introduce their own replacement rifle for the venerable Arco 62M, which was in turn used as the original weapon and the basis of original Galil. So Soviets made an assault rifle, Finns reverse engineered it and sold their blueprints to Israelis who reverse engineered it further. And then these blueprints of the reverse engineered Israeli weapon were sold to Sweden and then sold to Finns, who made a replacement for the original rifle. So there's a neat circle which was closed in small arms design, but stats wise they are identical with the Arco 62, which is fine by me. It's an assault rifle. You can attach optical sights and night sights and fire rifle grenades, but technically speaking the accuracy in the wargame level of standardization is identical with Arco 62. And this is the Apilas, same as French Apilas. Really good AT system in my books. The rate of fire is immense and the damage it can deal to any armored target is substantial. And the close quarters combat version of the kevyt konekiväri 62, which should be KV-KK instead of KK-62. What else? Oh yeah. The spam maglans, as they say, you get a hopping availability of 7 in a Finnish deck, which is pretty identical to the Israeli one with longer range. But I digress. The AK-74 is a mistake. Finns never operated this variant, only 7.62 weapons, and this is Panzerturvaohjus 94. The spike system was due to be bought before the Hornet raid and the collapse of the Soviet Union. It had already been brought to Finland as a test bed, and this is just one of the many examples of the way that the IDF and the FDF cooperated closely during the Cold War. More of that later in the support section. And let's go forward. Here's the Swedish-speaking Rannikkojägare units. Oh yeah, these are the only guys who were smart enough to brought up some camouflage and camo paint. They are using Finnish woolly hats called Pipo, and they have tactical boots instead of rubber boots. But stats wise, Raikka elite stats. This is the elite version of the KK62. 50% accuracy, acceptable rate of fire. The suppression is worse than in the units using heavier caliber. I'd prefer intermediate caliber because the penetration in forested terrain and in buildings is better than with NATO 5.56, but that's something for another day. I'm not going to go into that discussion there. The 90s variant still use the woolly hat. They have the same frag vest and M85 combat system. Combat vest and Apilas. Oh, here's an interesting little story. So they are still holding KV-KK-62, but they were given this weapon, Valmet M78, which was never operated by the FDF. Valtiometalli, Valmet, the same company which made the assault rifles, was also making copies of other Soviet small arms systems, and the M78, or copies would be a wrong word, because the Finns reverse engineered and improved the weapon systems substantially, and these had rather high reputation worldwide as high quality weapons, just like the Yugoslav ones. Valmet M78 is the gun you've seen if you've seen 1980s action movies, which is from Commando, and it's a real meme unit, I admit it openly, because Erikoisrajajääkärit, the units we are soon going to talk about, heck, I can show them to you right now. Here we are. These guys are still holding this weapon, even though they don't have it now because they have the Apilas, but I'll get back to them later, and the story behind them is interesting because they were going to be with different stats, which were going to be more unique than just LSTR-40 with stealth values, as Eugen puts it. But yeah, Rannikkojägari 90s, 35 points, assault rifles, really good, well, in my books as well, really good close quarters. MG and Apilas. Good unit by all standards. Here's an oldie but goldie weapon. They could use Suomi SMGs perhaps, or then they could use those Ukko-Pekka M39. Yes, that's 1939 bolt action rifles. So they have the Finnish versions of Mosins, and this guy is once again in prime condition. Nordic Superman confirmed. He's carrying around the 95 S55 musti raskas Sinko, which means the heavy recoilless rifle. Finns use the word Sinko for both disposable launchers and recoilless rifles. They don't distinguish those. And this is a 95mm heat rocket system, which was also improved constantly through the career. It got a substantially improved, I think it was Austrian made, anti-reactive armor round within the time frame, but that was something which we took away, or which Eugen took away. Naturally, it's their game, but we never proposed it for this unit either, because this is Cat C unit from year 1962. Alright, let's carry on. That's the infantry for you. Ilmatorjuntaohjus 96. Now the story between the Buk M1 and the Finnish anti-air system goes to the strategic defense of Lapland and Greater Helsinki region. The Finns had bought, when the Treaty of Paris, which was really restrictive to the Finnish ownership of offensive missiles, which was originally meant the German V2 and that type of tactical missiles was changed and altered so that defensive missiles in quote marks were allowed, and Finns bought in 1979 the V600 system. These are actually the wrong stats, because the Neva system that the Finns bought was 2 generations older or newer than the North Korean one, which is already in the game. And now if you're saying that, oh, this is just a lousy reskin from the North Korean unit, I've seen this before, lazy Eugen, no, that's not the case, because this is the original model and the only one which the Eugen modelers were able to look closely, because these are in the Finnish museums. And yeah, it's the same as the Soviet one as well. But this emergency light, or this kind of a traffic light here, which is shining around in orange light when the vehicle is moving, it's definitely Finnish. It's similar with the Norwegians use. And funnily enough, it's here, even though it's only for peacetime use. Let's go forward. Ilmatorjuntaohjus 90. ITO 90. So the anti-air missile 90. Crotale NG. No longer in RAD, so basically it's your Crotale with 8 missiles. The speed should go lower, it's a heavy system. And yeah, it's not amphibious. It's also really lowly armored, so it relies on the speed to get away from harm's way. But funnily enough, this is one of the only 4th generation system in the world which is able to really engage while on the move, even though it doesn't have any stabilizers. The actual speed it can do it. It would be stupidly OP in the game, but in real life it's able to move on rather slow speed and still be able to fire the missiles. It has optical system, thermals, laser designators. The missile is agile, and even though it can use 2 radars, the actual stat can be found from the Finland thread. These stats give it right. And gameplay wise, this is the mean range of 280 meters against airplanes, and good range against helicopters, which is the primary use for this system. Availability should be low, only half were bought historically because of the Hornet raid, and even though if it was to be bought for all the brigade level units as a standard AA, as was the case with the original strength of roughly 60 units, it would still be a rather rare sight in wargame level battlefield. Let's go on. Oh yeah, here, the Genie Peak. This model is really good. The textures not so much. It's rather bland looking compared to the original, but the level of detail is nice. Ilmatorjunta panssarivaunu Marksman. Ilmatorjunta meaning anti-air, panssarivaunu meaning armored vehicle, and Marksman as the name of the system. Swiss Oerlikon autocannons 35mm. British turret system fitted with French thermals, so it's able to fire at night time in a country where the Arctic and the Nordic twilight can last for months in Lapland. And a chassis from a Polish T-55. East meets west, it's unique Finnish unit for the time frame, Finland being the only real operator of the system. The BIA got so fed up with the constant demands and upgrades that the Finns were just pushing to their direction, that they ultimately sold the technology to Finns. And there were over 1,000 little upgrades for the system, mainly for the general aiming speed and the gyrostabilizers of the entire chassis. The turret is really heavy, but the system is rather fast. For your marksman comparison in wargame terms, it's about in realistic conditions. The nickname Marsu means Genie Pig, coming from the marksman, and the unit itself, it's the standard panssari-ilmatorjunta battery level units. Panssari-ilmatorjunta meaning armored air defense for the armored brigades. Oh yeah, and here's the unit to zone off helicopters, as I was told to do, with 15% of accuracy. This is like saying that the West German M42 Duster is a good anti-air unit. Yeah, the HA power and suppression levels are substantial, but with this cost, oh yeah, There was a modernization program for this as well, but it was postponed and cancelled, and we never wanted to include it because it was something which wouldn't have been included with the introduction of marksman, so it's either or, and the selection was easy. Something else, Tela Kanuna. So this is the, if memory serves, it's the giant Giantsint S. My Russian is terrible, sorry for that for all the Russian listeners. The Giantsint, or Tela Kanuna 91, was part of the deal where they bought 400 BTR-80s, Uragans, and these cannons from the Soviet Union just before the Soviet Union fell apart, but way before the end of the time frame. So these units were definitely interesting for the FDF. The Telak 91 rate of fire is good, definitely, for a system of this cost, and we all know that medium artillery is in a bad place, but this might not be as useless as the rest of the lot. I'm looking at you, Panssarihaubitsi 74. So, with these stats, maybe you could just pummel, but with this HA power, no use. No use to pummel away with those supply costs. I really hope that Eugen finds a solution which would make these systems relevant in the battlefield, because it's an iconic unit and I'd really like to use it, but with these stats, no use. Oh, what else? Bit of clusters, RAD, raketinheitin 76, raketinheitin 89, raketinheitin 91. I'm not going to show you all the units here, I'm just showcasing the ones which were prime examples. For example, this is just a dual launcher on a truck mount for Igla 1. Plenty of missiles. Nothing to complain about either, it's a good little unit. Bit like the RBS systems for the Scandinavian countries with fire and forget. So, not to be underestimated. Oh yeah, this would reportedly break the whole game. Behold the glory of Sergei Mod. These are the upgrade systems, and for all the physicians out there, as in people interested in ballistics, the 23mm caliber doesn't mean that the bullet magically, or the projectile magically stops at the rate and the range of 2625 meters, but instead you have to use neat little things called computers, which Yugoslavia totally has supreme to the west, and silly capitalist powers like USA. But the Finns had some neat systems as well, because they were socialist enough and in brotherly relations with great comrade Tito. So the Finnish system, in my biased opinion, should deserve the 200 and 800 meter upgrade, which was specifically designed for that, especially considering what are the other stats of the units. It had night vision, it had laser rangefinders, which give units the capability to fire longer than radars in wargame, and quick, small unit, 5 HPs. As long as a single helicopter gets into range, it's toast. As long as something fires at it with indirect fire, it's toast. It's fast, it doesn't swim, it has good air detection, but nothing about that. And when used in game, it shoots down helicopters and does some stun to overflying aircraft. The anti-airplane range is, in my opinion, justified, but the anti-helo range should go back to the mean range of 2,800 meters in my books. That's just my biased view. We go on to Mäki-Matti, which is the Tela Granaatiheitin 66. This is the gun tractor which was also used, Soviet made, excellent for the Finnish muddy terrain conditions, which is also used by the North Korea for their own designs. And this is Tampella system, or Soltam system. The Soltam systems is actually a Luxembourg-based proxy firm through which the Finnish company, which was officially had nothing to do with Israel, was able to sell and test and produce weapon designs through the Middle East. And this cooperation between Finland and Israel is also represented in Tela Kanuna 84, which is the Sholev. A bit more inaccurate Cholet because it doesn't have all the shiny gadgets of the Israeli version, but definitely interesting piece. The rate of fire is rather low, but it fires a burst, so it's a bit like the Soviet MSTA, but not quite. Abu Smali is low, unarmored, but that range and dispersion and the HA power makes this a rather worthy unit. Mortars are the strong suit of Finland as well. Here's Telagranati 1871 for the tractor chassis. And this is a mistake here because it's a direct copy from Tunja. This should be a copy from the West German Tampella, because this is the ubiquitous 120-meter motor which was copied from the French motor, and then on and on until we get to the Finnish version, which is also present in the Swedish Amos system, which Finns don't get even though it being a joint project. Which is fair because Sweden didn't have any alternatives. These kind of jury-rigged constructions were often used by the Finns as well, because anyone with welding equipment would have done these, and the prototypes exist starting from T26 chassis from the continuation war year. We are almost over the middle of the interview or the preview. This is the Charioteer, a nice little model from the days when the Finns still colored their units with monochrome color. T55M, T55M Matti, which is in standard camouflage condition using the same fire control system from Bofors, which is also present in the Yugoslav units and which has a pretext in the game in the Swedish Street Volkswagen Hundraufe. Yes, here we are. So 70 and 70. The ammunition is from Mekar, and according to the statistics it was deemed superior in penetration when compared to the T72M1, which has 60 AP, so 70 AP. Here we go. Nothing game breaking as the rate of fire is abysmally slow. The accuracy is good, but 7 front armor, 3 side armor. It's a glass cannon. Deal with just a moment. Now then, sorry for the delay. So yeah, the T72M2, T72M1 by Finnish terminology, with the nickname Taistelupanssarivaunu, which means an MBT, is your standard T72M1 with 4 optics, and the main AP power being from the round BM something. Sorry, it's a bit late at night here, so my mind wanders, which was definitely inferior to the Mekar ammunition used by T72M. Which brings us to T72M1 päivitetty. Päivitys meaning an upgrade, but päiv is a short acronym favored by the FDF to the structure of the Finnish language, and päivi is 1 letter away from Päivi, which is a female name, roughly called Daisy. And the Daisy T72M1 has medium optics. As you can see, there's the same kind of sight, which is also present in Matti, and with the same fire control system, roughly the same Bofors fire control system. They have the same accuracy. Stabilizers are improved only marginally, but due to the new autoloader for the heavier rounds, longer rounds, which gets away from the limitations set by the old standard autoloader of T72M1, it has immense AP power, which is the same because they use the same round as T72M1 mod, eli modernisoitu. Modernisoitu meaning, well, you guessed it, modernization. A lot of features for the tank fans to look upon This was based on the research of the retired Lieutenant Colonel Dahl, whom our contact and co-author Slexa was able to contact and interview and discuss about the details of this project, which was finally abandoned when Leopard 2A4s were bought, but which was ready to proceed by the time the Hornet deal and the recession slashed the FDF budget in our timeline. But in alternative timeline, all of these subsystems were tested. The tracks and the new chassis, or the new wheels. Basically there's only difference in the model, but to cut the long story short, these are not ERA plates, they are just extra armor, which brings the level of protection to equivalent of Leopard 2A4 but below Leopard 2A6. So there you go, front armor and the penetration from the new round, which was bought from redacted Western country, which was making ammo at this time. Google for the makers of the 125mm ammunition outside the Soviet sphere, and you quite quickly narrow down the possible producer for this. But that's your heavy tank over there. Good rate of fire to the new autoloader compared to the original. That's it. Stabilizers, not so much. I like it. Nothing to complain, really. Alright. Here is another typo. Rajavartioslaitos. It should be Rajavartiolaitos Border Guard Service. Jet Ranger. Fitted with thermals, ground search radar, and infrared equipment for search and rescue missions of missing persons, making it also an excellent recon helicopter for the FDF. The whole fleet of all police and military helicopters, as well as the Border Ranger helicopters, would have been at the disposal of the wartime services, and just like the Norwegian supply helicopters, these units are here to represent that. Then there's BMP-1 TJJ, which comes from Tulenjohto, fire coordination. So these are your FO vehicles, which are fitted with Concourse missiles for self-defense, and which carry a rather hefty load. 35 points, steel value, top armor value 1. It's your BMP-1 with a little bit of stealth and concourse teams to boot. Much more interesting is the BMP-1 Konetykki KT, Kilo Tango, coming from autocannon in Finnish. Kone is a machine and Tykki is a cannon. So the autocannon variant is using the same Bushmaster 2, which was also going to be fitted for the not included Movak Trojan, which was the true IFE project for the FDF. But this modernization program tested the abilities of the BMP-1. It's crowded, too crowded to serve as an EFV, but enough for the crew, and the weapon itself was so good that the Finns decided that whatever they're going to buy in real life was going to be armed with this weapon system exclusively. Represented as a prototype, it's a Bushmaster 2 and a BMP-1 chassis with medium stealth and good optics, and a heavy anti-air machine gun. I've heard a lot of whining about these units being with a front camouflage, but as we go closer and take a look, we can see that this pattern here is most likely an artistic representation of the MY91. And considering that these guys are not part of the FDF per se, but they are border guards, Erikois means special, Raja means the border, and Jägari is once again the term for Finnish infantry forces, so they are border guard special forces, to make a literal translation. And they are using not the M05 equipment, as you can see from here, from the backpack, from the model, you can see that they are using Sirpaliliivia MiG-91, and on top of it they are using this so-called Scout chest rig, which is, as you can see from the clips and the location of the pouches, this is not the M05, but it could be any third-party tactical vest. And as I mentioned earlier, these guys are armed with the Yatimatic SMG of Finnish fame and Cobra fame from the 1980s Hollywood, and they also still carry around the Valmet M78 LMG. The original loadout for this unit was to become a dedicated anti-infantry force with a Yatimatic and an LMG and Igla, so that they would have been really specialized for destruction of basically Maglans with a man pad without the ATGM, if you catch my drift here. But because Poland didn't have any dedicated high anti-tank value recon infantry due to the stats of Formosa, instead of re-rolling Formosa into anything else, Eugen opted to including Apilas, so we got an LSTIA clone with an SMG. I don't know, you can always say that anything with an armor value of 1 and an MG would have been able to kill them otherwise, but these are special forces, mostly trained for anti-infantry type missions. Search and destroy, search and rescue, raids deep into enemy territory. Now they are LSTIA 40 clones which can be used for similar missions. Apilas is a bit bulky for those type of work, but it's the best they can offer, and it's also something that they could howl around as well. So these guys have access to all the weapons that the FDF uses, and just like Delta Force should have good weapons, I'm always been supporter of their cause. These guys are using a loadout which is plausible, and yes, the Iglan is something which is going to move, so SAS can still hold the true kingship of 5HA value as they should. Yes, that's for Erikoisrajajääkäri. Here is one of my favorites, the ATV. This is actually, it should be the Honda 85 ATV, which was the first 4x4 ATV in the world, and also one which was quickly adopted by the Finnish reindeer herders, because these little things, just like snowmobiles, have transformed the life in Lapland, and half of Finland is reindeer herding territory, territorially speaking. Reindeer herding has become much more easier with these things. You can keep the herds together even in summertime, and they are really usable, and therefore there's a lot of those. And the FDF tested them in the north, the border rangers had them, and the confiscation law had a list of all of these vehicles which would have been worth of army use, and they could have been pressed into service, just like horses in the Second World War, according to the law, in a time of emergency. And these units are here to represent the bike scout doctrine of the FDF. So each platoon, each Jääkäri platoon with 3 XA-185 buses, XA-180 busi, APCs, would have a single scout. And the mission of these scouts, and they operated in teams of 2 bikes, was just to drive forward in tandem fashion until something happens. And if they can dismount, it's good. If they don't, at least they know when somebody fires upon them that there's something ahead, so real kamikaze scouting. But in essence, the FDF tactical tests have proved that the system of using these kind of reconnaissance is the best thing to do before drones. If you have limited assets and you need to maintain situational awareness, using dirt bikes and ATVs is a really good and time-proven fashion of using the smaller forces in tactically flexible way and being able to react to threats and flank the foe. Strength is 3 hit points. Still, if somebody farts in their general direction, they'll die. Here's another one, beyond PSV, the extra applique armor from Merida style construction. Same AP. These are trained crews which are spearheading the armored spearheads, and if the same equipment which was used in West German tanks as a standard from the end of the 1970s gives ability for stealth in other conditions, this unit can do as well. I wouldn't know what happens if these meet the Dutch Leopard 1 recon tank in combat situation. A lot of depend from the circumstances, but if you compare it and do a quick comparison, bit more front armor value, way lower rate of fire, 2 better AP, abysmal stabilizers, so you really cannot kite at all. The Dutch unit can close in and out at will with that stabilizer level. The weak stabilizers are a thing in the FDF because the doctrine calls you to stop when firing whenever possible. So yeah, good unit, nothing to write home about. And I know the Chinese tank is crying at the corner for being neglected, but it has 1 more rate of fire, same optics, bit more armor, better accuracy substantially, yes. 5 more points. I don't know. We'll see how it rolls out. Basically the rate of fire and the lack of autoloader makes it rather slow firing unit when fired upon, as everyone with any experience with the British tanks can quickly confirm you. Forward to everyone's favorite meme unit. The name comes from U-bow, the same one which the Welsh longbowmen used and which was the weapon of choice for the Finnish forest rangers and any kind of hunters before the crossbows became popular during the time of the Viking Age. But the name stuck. It means forest brigands, people who are going around in forest armed, doing dangerous things, hunting, foraging, going around. It has really positive connotations in Finnish military jargon. For example, if you're making some kind of ad hoc rubber band solution for something, you are making a CC fix to something. The backpacks are heavy and they are camouflaged with that waterproof camo pattern, and yes, they are levitating. Thanks for Orkbuster to pointing that one out. But aside from these maglev backpacks, these guys have the rubber boots, the M65 Verikauha M65 Verikauha, which is basically the Finnish version of the German field cap, or rather similar to it, designed in Finland of course before the Second World War. The camouflage pattern is a bit off. It's a funny version, it should be grey while the rest of the uniform is camouflaged. And they are carrying around Suomi Konepistoli 555 Kevytsinko and Dragunov SVD. And yeah, I've heard people complain that oh boy, these guys are carrying around 80 weapons. They should be using mines, but mines cannot be displayed in wargame terms, and they wouldn't be carrying around light 66 KES 88 or KES 75 because that system is disposable in field conditions where you can just carry around a lot of warheads for a single launcher with Raikka. So if they were to use any weapon, it would be this one. It was on their arsenal in the 1970s, according to my pictorial sources, which I can post to the forum if people are really strong feeling about this. Generally speaking, the Finns who have come to the forum have had rather characteristic feature and national mood. They've all come to complain that this unit is OP or this is poorly represented. It has too good stats in game. Nobody has come to say that this unit has too bad stats compared to the real life. but that's just a culture thing, as the saying goes. But yeah, the Japanese Rangers with a better AT weapon. Decent availability, nothing game breaking. Good units on my books. Which brings us to vehicles. The BMP-2 is BMP-2 over 1986 because the Finns bought theirs relatively late. It's a good red for IFV. The lack of ATGM launchers is a historical thing, because doctrinally speaking the FDF had huge amount of infantry brigades which had to have all the possible Concourse launchers to cover the open distances in southern and southeastern Finland in a potential conflict scenario, whereas the infantry fighting vehicles, Rynnäkköpanssarivaunu in Finnish, let me repeat, Rynnäkkö is an assault and Panssarivaunu is a tank, so they are assault tanks, literally translating. But Rynnäkköpanssarivaunu units, which were carrying Panssarjägeri squads, were always to be accompanied with tanks, because Panssarjägeri units and Panssari units, tanks and armored infantry would be cooperating on a tactical level with a 1-on-1 ratio, so for each BMP there would be one tank, a T-55 Matti or T-72, and therefore the ATGM launcher was an extra thing, not needed. And this was the FDF doctrine, much to the 1990s. Anti-tank duties were to be dealt with dedicated anti-tank units. Most of them would be using the articulated Bandwagen or Sisu-Nasu units, which were used for carrying around the Improve TOW and TOW-2 missiles. These missiles were bought by the Finnish military after the Rauma-Repola incident gave Finns the full trade clearance to advanced NATO equipment, and they wasted no time on buying these. This is a historical setup. This is a prototype with multiple pictures when they tested this kind of LAV AT type heavy dedicated tank killer turret, which was not adopted because of the terrain offers very little chances to use it. Typical engagement ranges are so low. Sturmi for 5 points. Top Keck, nothing to add here. It can barely get out of the free supply zone before running out of fuel. Terra Musti with the same recoilless rifle as before, decentish AP, low rate of fire. And even this unit exists. It's currently for Kaupunkijääkäri. It uses AGS-17, which is in Finnish lexicon Granaattikonekivääri 93. I repeat, Granaattikonekivääri. So, grenade machine gun, literal translation. And here's another one, also exclusively used by Kaarti at the moment. It's an XA-180 with a bulletproof turret and a Musti heavy recoilless rifle on top of it. This loadout was used in the UN missions in Lebanon and a few prototypes in Finland as well, where they tested the concept. And it was considered to be an option for fire support. So these two units, considering you only get 5 cards of the basic XA-180, should become available for all the other variants, especially for fire support, so for Raskassinkoryhmä and the ADGM and Man-Bad teams. Considering the example of the Japanese APC, once again the name escapes me, but worry not, I can find it out here quickly enough. If you compare it to Guiro Kuwab, the critical frontal armor value is obvious. So, oh yeah, this one swims totally OP, bleeds nerve. Autonomy is also great. All the Sisus are really long-legged vehicles in the game, as it should be, but they are just armored boosters. Whenever you hit them with a 20mm anti-material rifle or anything else that looks at them nastily, they'll die. So 15 points is balanced, but I wouldn't bring it to common infantry, that would be silly, because it weren't that common, with one exception. Rannikkojägari units and erikoisjägari units should have these, because these are littoral warfare. These guys are operating, they are the Finnish Marines for the Baltic Archipelago region, and they are just like kustjägare in the Swedish service. And therefore, for them, the AGS armed vehicle would make sense, because it would be predominantly present. Because if you have ever been in a rocky Baltic shore and wondered that what would happen if somebody would fire a burst with an AGS to the vicinity, well, you get the general idea why this weapon was so commonly used in their loadouts. That's for the vehicles. Helicopters, this is a long story short. GSH 23L, so these are gunboats. Quad gunboats, 2 per pod, 4 pods in total. That rate of fire, but they have to rotate the whole Mi-8 to correct position, together with rockets. It's a ghetto DAP, DAPS. I think it was Trotskygrad who said that, and yeah, it's a fitting comparison. HH-10, the ATGM, MD-500, 4 H points, 4 hit points, TOW 2s. Same range, it's pretty close to the Danish one. Once again, not without a pretext in the game and nothing game breaking in my books, and this might be asked you, feel free to feel different. 4 hit points compared to 6 hit points. Oh yeah, sorry. Here we go. 6 versus 4. 4 missiles, 4 missiles. In my books, it's balanced. But that's just my opinion, man, as the saying goes. That's for the helicopters. Then there's craft that nobody will ever use, Mi-8T, and the 2 transport helicopters. You get 6 hit points and 300 kilometers per hour, or you can get 8 hit points and 250. And medium size versus big. In reality, none of these helicopters would be armed, but because Eugen doesn't add any unarmed helicopters to the game, here we are with an NSV. Avia, everybody's making huge fuss about these. Maybe the North Korean B5 is giving them post-traumatic stress or anything, but hey, 15 hit points, 0 EZM, 1005 kilogram bomb. I wouldn't pick it. When you have the option of using the glorious Fouga Magister CM170, armed with the venerable AS-11 AGM, AMCLOS missiles. I think it holds the title of the worst ATGM plane in the game, and wins that prize with shining colors. The availability is decentish, so you can troll people with it. It's a 1960s trainer. As a fun fact, the Israelis also thought that this plane could be used for low-level ground attack, but their war experiences quickly taught them otherwise, and the Finns were quick to drop any of these kind of silly ideas as well. Another trainer, the Hawk, British PIA Hawk 51. This is a whole another thing. It has R60 Molnias, FAB 500, so it carries 1 ton worth of bombs. It has an Aden autocannon, 10% of electronic countermeasures. These are all approved by Xeno, so I think he knows more than I wouldn't complain. As you can see, the gun is here below the actual chassis, and it's a neat plane. The speed is substantial. And with that ECM and plane and drop pattern, it's actually able to come whole every now and then. And for 60 points, I think it's totally worth the cost. And a sad story, the Finnish Drakens. None of them were really fitted with electronic countermeasures in the time frame. So my hope is that the AIM 9P3 could be switched with the MiG-21 bis, which is disregarding the fact that they are using the Lasur model, which is the wrong model. These are good planes, both of them, with their own way, but only the MiG-21 BIS is usable. These are the two interceptors that Finns really used in the time frame before they started their upgrade program, well within the time frame as well, by the mid-1980s. And the original plan was to buy 40 planes, so modernize these two planes, plane types, with keeping circa 20 of them of each in a use. One squadron of MiG-29 BAS for southern Finland, one squadron for Drakens for northern Lapland, and to buy 20 planes from the east, that would be the MiG-29. The first foreign review outside of Soviet Union was in Kuopio Air Show, so the Soviets were really keen to sell this aircraft to the Finns, as they needed all the foreign cash they could get at that time, historically. And the same applied, curiously enough, for McDonnell Douglas. So on the other US air companies, the F-16 and the F-18 were both planes which tried to be sold to the Finns and which were marketed for the Finns really aggressively in 1989, when the Soviet Union was still standing. Same goes for the AMRAAMs. The Finns were adamant in their view that fire and forget missiles are the way for the future for air combat. You have to have lots of them, you have to fire them and then just disengage, which is really well represented in this plane. As soon as I hope that the Eugen is able to make them ripple fire. This was the idea that got from the devs. We had this with heavy rockets in addition to Wumpels, but they made it lighter, cheaper, faster. If it ripple fires these two missiles as intended at some iteration of the game, it's going to be excellent. People are just crying about it because they think that it fires them in turn. And the F-18C. 6 AMRAAM-As, AIM-9Ms, Vulcan. Well, the turn radius, it's the saving grace. This is just your AMRAAM truck. You fire the AMRAAMs and fly away. Very little to say otherwise. There's a rocket plane with SNEBs, bit of ECM as well. There's a rocket plane which fires only half of the salvo. These Drakens are not worth the cost totally, because the zero ECM and the fly pattern, they fire those rockets really close to the targets, and they only fire half of them, and then they just fly over the target if you don't micro them intensively. And napalm. Polttotaisteluaine kanisteri 58. These are from the Swedish stocks. It's carrying a bit too few. It could only carry 4, but even that's enough. Speed of 900. It's an Airborne truck for 90 points. Once again, let's compare it to existing DLC units. Let's compare it to the it's faster, but lacks the ECM and will fire lower canisters. Fewer canisters, I call it balanced in that regard. Nice turn radius when compared to that, but that's just semantics. And then in the Israeli inventory, 20 ECM versus 0 ECM, same speed, while the autocannon is a little bit better on the Draken, but that's about it. Once again, lower amount of napalm. Nothing unusual either. Good usable unit. The Air Force is always going to be the weakest link of the FDF. It's defensive focusing on the air superiority, which is it's going to be able to perform rather well. I could only hope for the upgrade for Draken for at least a bit of ACM, but that's about it. And this concludes our interview or review. Thanks for watching.